unkind means that we use can make how unkind they are because of how they make people feel. Now, whatever our race, there's somebody either in your race, in your ethnic group, who has found some name that they know will make you angry. If you're an Italian, there's something you can be called. If you're Jewish, there's something you can be called. And if you're whatever, there's some epithet that somebody has discovered. If I just call that person that, they'll really be hurt. Said these poems are universal. The term that is used in this poem is one that applies to blacks. But if you're not a black, all you have to say in your mind is, when I get to that word, that is the word that can make me, not now, but there, in my growth process before I develop something that would protect me, it would make me feel very, very big. So now, you know whatever that word is in your group, you put it there. I'm only going to ask you one question. Well, I say that because something else may come to me. But I'll say it this way. I would like to ask you the main question at the end of this poem. And that is, what did the poet say that made you know how very, very far-reaching, awful, just the use of this one name, this one time, called by the person who called it? What was this far-reaching? Reciting incident by county color. Once, riding in old Baltimore, I saw a Baltimorean keep looking straight at me. Now, I was 8, very small, and he was no whit bigger, and so I smiled, but he poked out his tongue and called me nigger. I saw the whole of Baltimore from May until December, of all the things that happened there. That's all that I remember. That's the end of it. How could you tell that that person was very badly hurt? How old was the person?
8.
Thank you. This little 8-year-old who spent 6 months in what city?
Baltimore.
Thank you, in Baltimore. And he did more than ride on one bus one time if he was there for nearly 6 months. How do you know that he was badly hurt? You didn't say he cried. Yes?
He said he was there from May to December, and that was really what touched him the most from all that time.
That is exactly right. That is really on the ball. Yes. There for 6 months. Look at the places maybe he was visiting grandparents, where they could have taken him in 6 months, the people he could have met. And yet, from that long visit, that's all. So, County Cullen wrote that hoping that people of all groups would be very, very careful about what they call somebody. Now, let me go back again. I want to go to Langston Hughes, because we have this very beautiful map here. Simpkins has allowed us to use just for a very brief. Let me tell you that when Langston Hughes was 18 years old, this is his first poem, probably, that I'm going to recite. From that has come poems and books, and plays and stories and all. But at 18, he wrote this one. Still a favorite of many people. And this one he wrote to instill, somebody said pride a few minutes ago, and that's what he wrote this one for. Now you see if you can get any pride out of saying this poem. What's the pride in it? Well, another map to help us see another river. Because in this poem, Langston Hughes mentions 4 important rivers. 3 of them are in this part of the world, Africa and Asia, and then one is in our own state, country. One in our own country, I know you know very well. It's a very, very long river. What are you thinking of? Mississippi. Yes, I heard several say that, right? It's the Mississippi. If you think about a large river in Africa, that's not a continent we can study a whole lot, but does any river come to your mind at all? I'm going to point to one over here, and this one starts with an N. Did this anything to you? That is one. That's over here. That's a good one. And you gave us the first 2 letters, however. She said Niger.
Nile.
Nile. Right, it is. That's the Nile. The Nile River over in this part of the world. I should have started with the one that's over here. Starts with an E. Yes, that's right. Say it, please. Sit up. Right. Euphrates. Euphrates is right. That's over in Asia. Here's one that starts with C. Say it when you recognize.
Congo.
Congo is right. Already given me the board. Okay. We call this poem "The Negro Speaks of Rivers." For the Black Revolution of the 60s, blacks were referred to as Negroes, and so he wrote this way back when he was young, and that's why he was using that term. You know, these are the same people. And he was very proud of his ancestry, and so he was using this poem. And I'm telling you the message of this one a bit, so that you understand as we go along. And Langston Hughes said that he had a soul that had grown very, very deep because he had lived along rivers. Now, he does not mean like you, it means a group of people. And what has made their soul, he feels, grow deep, it's not just because they're living by some water, but because along all of these rivers, they have helped to build up great civilizations. People like them. Even when they were the slaves, the common workers, whatever they were, along these rivers, wherever they were, whether in the continent of Asia or Africa or North America. And so here's how he said it. The Negro Speaks of Rivers by Langston Hughes. That's going to start finishing this. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. I bathed in the Euphrates when dawns were young. I built my hut near the Congo, and it lulled me to sleep. I looked upon the Nile and raised the pyramids above it. I heard the singing of Abe Lincoln when he went down to New Orleans. And I've seen its muddy bosom turn all golden in the sunset. I've known rivers, ancient, dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. That's the end of that. to keep this in mind because this is a bit of a fun time. When we talk to each other, as I am talking to you now, and as your mothers at home and your teachers in school who teach you English and others who correct you about your speech, you are speaking as I am in what is called, some of you know this word. Do you know what I'm going to write here? What kind of English you were talking? Standard? You say you almost got it, yes. That is called standard, which means that that is correct wherever you are. Okay, now sometimes poets, even the ones that I'm reciting, each one that I have used so far writes in standard English, and then they write in what I'm going to write next. Dialect is right. And dialect, sometimes people say it's bad English. They say it's broken English. They say it's funny English. They say it's uneducated English. All those words are incorrect. The only thing I'd like you to think about dialect is different. It's just different. Language is for the purpose of communicating. If you understand what somebody says in broken English, you don't laugh about it. When you're talking to your peers, you certainly don't talk always as correctly as I am trying to talk when I'm talking here in front of you, nor do I with my friends. So we all, wherever we are, we have some kind of a dialect. According to this section, many of us can recognize people if they're from the South. Something in their voice tone and the way that they use words, same words we're using. Frequently we can recognize you from the New York or the New England area because they have a little bit dialect that's a little bit different. Okay. Now, I want you to remember what I'm saying, different but not funny. If what is said is funny, then what you're laughing at is what is said. But you're not laughing at the words themselves because they are different. I mention that because now I want to say some poems that are they're in dialect. And one of the first and most well-known writer of dialect in our country was a poet who always used three names. His first name was Paul. That's right, spell with anybody. Paul, Lawrence, and Dunbar. Paul, Lawrence, Dunbar. Now, Paul Lawrence Dunbar, even when he was writing in dialect, sometimes he'd be having a message that he wanted you to learn. Let me see if I can give us a little bit of a message of this one. And you have such very good imaginations. I'm sure you're going to help me. I'm just taking this time stalling to wonder if there's a boy who volunteer to be a helper. A boy? Another actor. May I have 2 chairs, please? Get up early in the morning. Yeah, you don't like to go to school. So when it's time, and we lived back in a time when you had to get out of bed quite early. Just had a long way to go to school. So therefore I had to get you up shortly after 6 o'clock. Shortly before 6 it should be. You're upstairs and I'm downstairs and I'm in the kitchen. I want you to go upstairs and now you're going to pretend that you are still in bed while I'm down here fussing and talking about the fact that you should be down here. And when you come in, all I want you to do is to come. Come about, you're going to come completely as you'll be about there. And I'm going to try to do this so that you get here when you hear me say, right. I will be looking this way when he comes in, so that I'll be fussing and be a little bit surprised when I turn around and see him. Okay, now you imagine I'm the mother. It's time for my son. His name is Lias. Probably was Elijah. She calls him Lias for short. You know, this poem is about a mother trying to get her son in the morning, but it's just as true for girls. The language is a little bit different, but the meaning is the same even today. So I know I have to wake up children. Sometimes there are days, you know, when even grown-ups don't like together every day. So we can all understand this. Okay, now you be with me. I am the mother. I am downstairs preparing breakfast, but it's time for my son to be up. My daughter's name is Caroline. She's already in the kitchen here helping me, but I have trouble getting Lias to come down. When he comes down, he's going to come down rubbing his eyes and with an angry look on his face. First of all, because I'm fussing at him. Second of all, because he doesn't want to go to school. Then I have a message which I will give to him. So I'm working, I have the table set, and I look up at the clock, and I call. He doesn't answer me when I call. Lies! Lies! Bless thee, Lord. Don't you know the days abroad? If you... Not this.
Oh, wait, wait. Yeah, we edited that, right? You cut that right out. All right.
I thought it. That's okay. Don't worry about that. I'll do next Lies! Lies! Bless the Lord. Don't you know the days abroad? If you don't get up, you snap, there'll be trouble in this camp. Well, you think I want to let you sleep whilst I make your boat and keep? That's pretty howdy-do. Lies! Don't you hear me when I call? No use turning towards the wall. I can hear that matter sweet. Don't you hear me when I speak? This here clock done struck off 6. Caroline, bring me them ass sticks. Oh, you down, sir. Huh, you down. Look here, boy. Don't you dare to frown. Watch yourself and wash your face. Don't you splatter all the place. I got something else to do, so I just cleaning after you. Now, take that comb and fix your head. Why, it looks just like a feather bed. Look here, boy. I'll let you see. You shan't roll your eyes at me. Come here. Bring me that strap. Boy, I'll whoop you till you back. You done felt yourself too strong, and you surely got me wrong. Sit down at that table there. Just you whimper if you dare. There's a moaning on this place. What? It seems like I must lose my grace. Fold your hands. And bow your head. Wait until the blessing says, Lord, have mercy on our souls. Don't you dare to touch them rolls. Bless these foods we wine to eat. You sit still. I see your feet. Yes, you try that trick again. In a peace and joy. Amen. That's the end of it. Another one by Paul Lawrence Dunbar. This time I wasn't stop listening. about everything happening, and as we did those demonstrations with the two boys and boys. Okay, now, shh. I want you to see me as a farmer who has been out working all day in his garden, and now he has come home. When he comes home, of course, you know he's tired, he's sweaty. You see me in the blue faded overalls, which we call jeans now, and perhaps a dirty red handkerchief hanging out of my back pocket, straw hat on, tired. But every day when I come home, there's something that I do that makes me very, very happy, and that is to play with my little son, who is crawling around on the floor just about that time every day when I come home. Now, in the days of which I speak, children didn't have the kind of goodies to eat that you have now. And so something that was a real delicacy, a real treat, sweet treat, was called molasses. You know what syrup is. Well, you know that molasses was a forerunner for syrup, darker and all that, the color and thicker. Okay, that's what they had. And babies liked it especially. So between crawling around on the floor, getting dirty, getting this dirty, getting face dirty, getting the hands dirty, well, you know, you can imagine what my little child looks like. That doesn't bother me. I love that too. Now, when I come home and I pick up the child, it's because I am this strong, brave farmer. Yeah, I got to be like this, that way now. Not little, you know, but I'm strong. And people don't think of that as being picking up a baby and playing with a baby as being a very strong and masculine, macho thing. So, since I like it though, I like to feel the baby's arms around me and a little soft cuddly body. I like it just as much as a female does. So that people won't think that I am effeminate, I play a little game with my baby. The game that I play is to frighten the baby so that the baby will hug me tightly. Now, when the baby hugs me tightly, then I become his big protector. And then nobody will think of me as being effeminate and liking babies like a mother or a sister or an aunt or a grandmother. They think we So that's what I always keep in my mind as I try to interpret this poem by Paul Laurence Dunbar, which he calls Little Brown Baby. Now you see me coming in tired, but anxious, and I go right over. I know about where this baby is, and I stay. Little brown baby with sparkling eyes, come to your pappy and hello his knee. What you been doing, son? Making sand pies? Huh. Look at that bib. You's as dirty as me. Look at that mouth. That's molasses, I bet. Come here, Mariah, and wipe off his hands. Why, the bees want to catch you and eat you up yet. Feeling so sticky and so weak. Goodness land. Little brown baby with sparkling eyes. Who's Pappy's dog? And who's Pappy's child? Who is it all the day? Never once tries for the big horse, nor loses that smile. Where did you get them teeth? My, you's a scamp. Where did that dimple come from in your chin? I don't know you. I believe you's a tramp. Mammy, this here's some old straggler got in. Let's throw him out the door in the sand. We don't want no stragglers laying around here. Let's get him away to the big booger man. He's hanging around here, right near. Booger man. Booger man. Come in the door. Here's a bad boy. You can have what to eat. Mammy and Pappy don't want him no more. Why, you just swallow him down from his head to his feet. God, now. I thought that you'd hug me up close. Go back, old booger. You shan't have this boy. He ain't no tramp.
to us this morning, and we'd like to just say thank you for such an excellent job, and we'd like to